Here's a question that might make you uncomfortable. Why do some people seem to effortlessly accumulate wealth, while others work just as hard, maybe even harder, and still struggle financially their entire lives? Is it luck, intelligence, family connections, being in the right place at the right time? Richard Templar spent decades studying wealthy people, not lottery winners, not trust fund babies, but ordinary people who became extraordinarily wealthy through their own efforts. And he discovered something fascinating. Wealthy people follow a set of unwritten rules, rules they might not even consciously know they're following. Rules that have nothing to do with complicated investment strategies or secret stock market formulas. These are psychological rules, mindset rules, behavioral rules. And here's the best part. Anyone can learn them. In his book, The Rules of Wealth, Templar breaks down over 100 of these rules. Rules about how to think about money, how to earn it, how to keep it, how to grow it, and most importantly, how to develop the wealthy mindset that makes everything else possible. Over the next 40 minutes, we're going to dive deep into the major themes from this book. We're covering the psychology of wealth, the habits that separate the rich from the broke, the money mistakes that keep people trapped in mediocrity, and the practical strategies you can start using today to transform your financial future. This isn't theory. This is the real playbook. So if you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, if you're ready to break free from financial stress, if you want to understand what wealthy people know that you don't, stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change everything. Let's begin. Theme 1. The Wealth Mindset, Thinking Like the Rich. The first major theme in the rules of wealth is the most fundamental: your mindset about money. Templar argues that wealth starts in your head long before it shows up in your bank account. The way you think about money determines whether you'll ever have it. And most people, they have it completely backwards. The poverty mindset trap. Let me paint a picture. There are two people, same age, same education, same job, same salary. But 10 years later, one is wealthy and one is broke. What happened? The broke person thinks, I'll never be rich. Rich people are greedy. Money is the root of evil. I'm not good with money. I don't deserve wealth. These thoughts seem harmless, but they're poison. Every single one of these beliefs programs your brain to repel wealth. Templar calls this the poverty mindset, and it's the #1 reason people stay poor. The wealthy person, they think differently. They believe wealth is achievable. Money is a tool. I can learn to manage money. I deserve financial abundance. Wealth gives me freedom and options. Same circumstances, different thoughts, completely different outcomes. Rule: you have to believe you deserve wealth. Here's a rule that stops most people dead in their tracks. You have to genuinely believe you deserve to be wealthy. Not in an arrogant way, not in a greedy way, but in a deep, unshakable way. Most people have what psychologists call wealth guilt. They feel guilty about wanting money. They think wanting wealth makes them shallow or materialistic, so they sabotage themselves. They get a raise and immediately increase their spending. They come into money and find ways to lose it. They have opportunities for wealth and don't take them. Why? Because deep down, they don't believe they deserve it. Wealthy people don't have this problem. They believe they deserve wealth just as much as they deserve health, happiness, or love. It's not arrogance, it's self-worth. Ask yourself right now, do you truly believe you deserve to be wealthy? If you hesitated,
You found your first barrier. Rule: decide to be wealthy. This sounds simple, but it's profound. Templar says you have to make a clear, conscious decision to become wealthy. Not, I hope to be wealthy someday. Not, it would be nice to have more money. But a firm decision. I am going to be wealthy, period. Most people never make this decision. They drift through life hoping things work out. They play the lottery. They daydream about inheritances, but they never decide. Deciding activates something in your brain. It focuses your attention. It aligns your actions. It creates determination. Think about the last time you truly decided something. Maybe you decided to quit a job, to end a relationship, to move to a new city. Once you decided, really decided, everything changed. You found the courage. You took the steps. You made it happen. Wealth works the same way. Decide, and then everything else follows. Rule: study wealth. Here's where it gets practical. Templar insists that you must study wealth like you'd study anything else you want to master. Want to be a doctor? You study medicine. Want to be a lawyer? You study law. Want to be wealthy? You study wealth. But most people don't. They hope to stumble into wealth by accident. They wait for someone to teach them. They assume it's too complicated. Wealthy people are students of wealth. They read books about money. They learn about investing. They understand tax strategies. They study successful people. They ask questions. They're obsessed with learning how money works. You don't need a finance degree. You just need curiosity and commitment. Templar recommends spending at least 30 minutes a day studying wealth. Read books, listen to podcasts, watch educational videos, follow wealthy people, study their habits, learn their strategies. Knowledge compounds just like money. The more you learn, the more opportunities you see. The more opportunities you see, the more wealth you create. Rule: wealth is a game. Learn to play it. Here's a mindset shift that changes everything. Templar says to think of wealth as a game. Not a game of chance like the lottery, but a game of skill like chess. There are rules. There are strategies. There are moves that work and moves that don't. And like any game, the more you play, the better you get. Poor people don't realize it's a game. They think money just happens to them. They're passive. They're victims of circumstance. Wealthy people know it's a game. They're active players. They make moves. They take calculated risks. They learn from losses. They optimize their strategy. When you see wealth as a game, you stop taking it personally. A financial setback isn't a catastrophe. It's just losing a round. You learn. You adjust. You play again. This mindset removes the emotional paralysis that keeps people broke. You start making smarter decisions because you're thinking strategically instead of emotionally. The mindset recap. Let's lock this in. The wealth mindset has 5 pillars. 1. Believe you deserve wealth. Eliminate guilt around money. 2. Make a firm decision to become wealthy. No more hoping. Commit. 3. Study wealth relentlessly. Become a student of money. 4. See wealth as a game you can learn to play and win. 5. Change your internal dialogue about money. Your thoughts create your reality. Master these 5 and you've laid the foundation. Everything else we're about to cover builds on this mindset. But mindset alone isn't enough. You need action. Which brings us to our next major theme.
Theme 2. Earning wealth. The rules of income. Now that you've got the right mindset, let's talk about earning. Because here's a hard truth. You can't budget your way to wealth if you don't earn enough. You can't save your way to millions on a poverty income. At some point, you have to increase what's coming in. Templar dedicates a huge section to the rules of earning, and they're not what you expect. Rule: your job is not your only income source. This is where most people get stuck. They have one job, one income stream, and they think that's how it works. Wealthy people, they have multiple income streams, always. They have their salary, but they also have side businesses, investments, royalties, rental income, consulting gigs, multiple sources. Why? Because relying on one income source is incredibly risky. You lose your job, and suddenly you're in crisis mode. But beyond risk, multiple income streams accelerate wealth building exponentially. $5,000 a month from one source is fine, but $5,000 from 5 different sources? That's transformational. Templar doesn't say quit your job tomorrow and become an entrepreneur. He says start building additional streams while you have the security of your primary income. Start small: a side hustle, freelancing, investing in stocks or real estate, creating digital products. Whatever matches your skills and interests. The goal isn't to replace your income immediately. The goal is to diversify, to build resilience, to create momentum. Rule: don't wait for permission to earn more. Here's a rule that hits hard. Most people wait for their boss to give them a raise. They wait for promotions. They wait for opportunities to be handed to them. Wealthy people don't wait. They create opportunities. They ask for raises confidently. They negotiate aggressively. They switch jobs for better pay. They start their own ventures. They take initiative. Templar tells a story about 2 employees, both excellent workers. One waits patiently, hoping management notices. The other documents their value, schedules a meeting, and asks for a 20% raise with evidence to back it up. Who do you think gets the raise? Waiting is passive. Wealthy people are active. They advocate for themselves. They're not rude or entitled. They're strategic and confident. If you're underpaid, don't complain. Build your case. Demonstrate your value. Ask for what you're worth. If they say no, start looking elsewhere. Your income is your responsibility, not your employer's, not the economy's, yours. Rule: invest in yourself first. This is one of Templar's most powerful rules. The best investment you can make is in yourself. Your skills, your knowledge, your network, your health, your personal brand. Most people invest their money in things: cars, clothes, gadgets, stuff that depreciates. Wealthy people invest in themselves. They take courses. They hire coaches. They attend conferences. They read voraciously. They upgrade their skills constantly. Why? Because your earning potential is directly tied to your value in the marketplace. The more valuable you are, the more you can charge. A mediocre copywriter makes $50,000 a year. An exceptional copywriter makes $200,000. Same job, different skill level. Templar recommends dedicating at least 10% of your income to self-investment. Books, courses, certifications, anything that makes you more valuable. This isn't an expense, it's an investment with the highest return possible. Rule: solve expensive problems. Here's a wealth secret. Money flows to people who solve expensive problems. A barista solves a small problem. They make coffee. They earn accordingly. A brain surgeon solves an expensive problem. They save lives. They earn accordingly. This isn't about job prestige. It's about value creation. Templar says if you want to earn more, you need to solve bigger, more expensive problems. In your current job, what's the most expensive problem your company faces? Can you solve it? Can you position yourself as the solution? In your side business,
What expensive problem can you solve for people? The bigger the pain point, the more they'll pay. This shifts your thinking from what can I sell to what problem can I solve that people desperately need solved. Answer that question, and income follows naturally. Rule network like your wealth depends on it, because it does. Templar is blunt about this. Your network is your net worth. Opportunities don't come from job boards. They come from people. Wealthy people understand this deeply. They build relationships strategically. They stay in touch. They help others. They make introductions. They're connectors. But here's the key. They give before they ask. They create value for their network first. Most people network transactionally. What can you do for me? Wealthy people network relationally. How can I help you? And over time, that generosity comes back tenfold. Your next job, your next client, your next business partner, your next investment opportunity will probably come from someone you know. So build those relationships now. Attend events, join communities, reach out to people you admire. Be genuinely helpful. Your network is one of your most valuable assets. Rule: don't trade time for money forever. This is the ultimate earning rule. At some point, you have to break the time for money trade. Employees trade time for money. Hourly workers, salaried workers, they work X hours, they get Y dollars. The problem is there is a ceiling. You only have 24 hours in a day. You can only charge so much per hour. Wealthy people eventually shift to models where income isn't tied to hours. They build businesses, they invest, they create products, they generate passive income. They earn while they sleep, while they vacation, while they're doing other things. Templar isn't saying employment is bad. He's saying don't let it be your only strategy forever. Even if you love your job, build something on the side that can generate income without your constant presence. Investments, a digital product, rental properties, something that decouples time from money. This is how wealth accelerates, when you're no longer limited by hours in a day. Earning wealth recap. Let's bring it together. The rules of earning wealth. 1. Build multiple income streams. Diversify your earnings. 2. Don't wait for permission. Create opportunities actively. 3. Invest in yourself constantly. Increase your value. 4. Solve expensive problems. The bigger the problem, the bigger the pay. 5. Network strategically. Your connections create opportunities. 6. Eventually, break the time for money trade. Build income that scales beyond your hours. Apply these rules and your earning potential transforms. But earning is only half the equation. You also have to keep what you earn. Which brings us to the next theme.
Theme 3. Keeping wealth. The rules of saving and protection. Here's a brutal reality. Earning a lot of money doesn't make you wealthy. Keeping it does. You've seen this. Athletes who earn millions and go broke. Lottery winners who end up poorer than before. Entrepreneurs who make fortunes and lose them. Templar dedicates substantial space to the rules of keeping wealth, because it's not about what you make, it's about what you keep. Rule: pay yourself first. This is the foundational rule of keeping wealth, and most people violate it constantly. Here's what most people do. They get paid, they pay all their bills, they buy what they need, and if there's anything left over, maybe they save it. The problem? There's never anything left over. Wealthy people flip this. They get paid, they immediately pay themselves first by transferring money into savings and investments.
Then they live on what's left. It's automatic, non-negotiable. They treat savings like a bill that must be paid. Templar recommends at least 20% of your income should go to yourself first. If that feels impossible, start with 10% or 5%, but start. The amount matters less than the habit. Paying yourself first rewires your relationship with money. It makes saving the priority instead of the afterthought. Set up automatic transfers the day you get paid. You won't miss what you don't see, and your wealth will grow in the background. Rule: live below your means, but not miserably. Here's where people get confused. Templar says live below your means, but he's not talking about deprivation. He's not saying eat ramen and never enjoy life. He's saying spend less than you earn, consistently. Most people increase their lifestyle every time their income increases. They get a raise, they upgrade their car. They get a bonus, they book an expensive vacation. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's a wealth killer. Wealthy people resist lifestyle inflation. When their income increases, their spending stays relatively flat. The difference goes to savings and investments. They still enjoy life. They still spend on things they value, but they're strategic. They don't let spending automatically rise with income. Here's a powerful question Templar suggests. Before any purchase, ask, will this bring me closer to wealth or further from it? Not, can I afford this? That's the wrong question. You can afford lots of things that keep you broke. The right question is about direction, closer to wealth or further away. That question changes everything. Rule: avoid the debt trap. Templar is uncompromising on this. Debt is the enemy of wealth. Not all debt. Strategic debt for assets that appreciate or generate income, like real estate or a business, that's different. But consumer debt, credit cards, car loans for depreciating vehicles, financing furniture or gadgets, that's financial poison. Here's why. Debt makes you pay for the past while trying to build the future. You're running on a treadmill. You're working to pay for things you've already consumed. Wealthy people hate consumer debt. They avoid it aggressively. If you have consumer debt right now, Templar says make it eliminating it your top financial priority. Before investing, before saving beyond an emergency fund, kill the debt. Because debt steals from your future self. Every dollar going to interest is a dollar that can't compound for you. It's compounding against you. And here's the psychological piece. Debt creates stress. It clouds decision-making. It makes you desperate. Desperate people make poor choices. Eliminate debt. Protect your peace of mind and your wealth-building potential. Rule: build your financial fortress. Templar uses this powerful metaphor. Your wealth is a fortress, and you need walls to protect it. Wall 1, emergency fund. At least 3 to 6 months of living expenses in cash. This protects you from life's inevitable curveballs. Wall 2, insurance. Health insurance. Life insurance if people depend on you. Disability insurance. Liability insurance. These protect against catastrophic losses. Wall 3, legal protection. Proper contracts, wills, estate planning. This protects your assets and your family. Wall 4, privacy. Don't broadcast your wealth. Don't advertise what you have. This protects you from people who want to take it. Most people skip these walls. They think they're unnecessary or boring. Then disaster strikes and they lose everything. Wealthy people are paranoid about protection. They insure, they plan, they prepare. Because they know building wealth is hard. Protecting it is essential. Rule: don't try to keep up. This rule could save you decades of financial struggle. Your neighbor buys a new car. Your coworker takes an exotic vacation. Your friend moves to a bigger house, and you feel pressure to keep up. Templar calls this the comparison trap, and it's deadly. You have no idea what's really happening in other people's finances. That new car could be financed with massive debt. That vacation could be on credit cards. That house could be a financial nightmare. Wealthy people don't care what others think of their lifestyle. They care about their actual financial position. They might drive an older car while their neighbor drives a luxury vehicle, but they have $1 million invested while their neighbor has debt. Who's really winning? Stop comparing. Stop trying to impress people who don't care about your well-being. Focus on your own wealth journey. The only person you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. Are you making progress? That's all that matters. Rule: know your numbers. This is simple but critical. You must know exactly where you stand financially. How much do you earn? How much do you spend? Where does your money go? What's your net worth? What's your debt-to-income ratio? Most people have no idea. They operate in financial fog. They just hope things work out. Wealthy people know their numbers precisely. They track everything. They review monthly. They're on top of their financial reality. Templar recommends a monthly financial review. 30 minutes. Look at your income, expenses, savings rate, investment performance, debt levels, net worth. You can't improve what you don't measure. You can't reach goals you can't track. Know your numbers, always. Keeping wealth recap. The rules of keeping wealth are: 1. Pay yourself first, automatically, every single time. 2. Live below your means without deprivation. Spend strategically. 3. Eliminate consumer debt aggressively. Debt is the enemy. 4. Build your financial fortress. Emergency fund, insurance, legal protection. 5. Stop comparing yourself to others. Run your own race. 6. Know your numbers. Track everything relentlessly. These rules are defensive. They protect what you're building. But protection alone doesn't create wealth. You also need to grow it. Which brings us to our next theme.
Theme 4: Growing Wealth, the Rules of Investing. You're earning well, you're saving consistently, you're protecting what you have. Now comes the exciting part: growing your wealth through investing. This is where compound interest works its magic, where your money starts working for you instead of you working for money. Templar demystifies investing with practical rules anyone can follow. Rule: start investing now, not later. The biggest investing mistake? Waiting until you have enough to invest. People say, I'll start investing when I'm making more money, when I've paid off debt, when I understand it better. Templar is blunt. Start now, even with small amounts, even if you're not an expert. Why? Because time is your most valuable investing asset. The earlier you start, the more compound growth you capture. Consider this.
If you invest $200 a month starting at age 25, by age 65, at an average 8% return, you'll have over $600,000. If you wait until 35 to start with the same $200 monthly, you'll have around $290,000. Same monthly investment, 10-year delay, over $300,000 difference. That's the power of starting early. Every year you wait costs you exponentially. So start now, even if it's just $50 a month. Start. You can always increase later. Rule: understand what you're investing in. Templar has a non-negotiable rule: never invest in something you don't understand. This seems obvious, but people violate it constantly. They buy crypto because everyone's talking about it. They invest in complex financial products because their banker recommended them. They put money into businesses they don't comprehend. Then they lose money and blame the market. Wealthy people only invest in things they understand. If they can't explain how it works, how it makes money, what the risks are, they don't invest. Period. This doesn't mean you need to be an expert in everything. It means you need to understand the basics. Do your research, ask questions, learn before you invest. And if something seems too complicated, skip it. There are plenty of simple, effective investment options. Stick with those until you're ready for complexity.
Rule: diversify, but don't over-diversify. You've heard the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's diversification, spreading your investments across different assets to reduce risk. Templar agrees. Diversification is essential. One stock crashes, you don't lose everything. But he warns against over-diversification, spreading yourself so thin that you can't meaningfully track or understand your investments. He recommends a balanced approach: stocks, bonds, real estate, maybe some alternative investments, but not 50 different things you can't manage. A well-diversified portfolio might include index funds or ETFs tracking broad markets, some individual stocks in companies you understand, bonds for stability, real estate, either physical or through REITs, perhaps some cash reserves for opportunities. The goal is protection without dilution. You want enough diversity to be safe, but enough concentration to see meaningful returns. Rule: think long-term, ignore short-term noise. This rule separates wealthy investors from gamblers. The market goes up, the market goes down. News headlines create panic. Experts make predictions. Most people react emotionally. They buy high when everyone's excited. They sell low when everyone's panicking. They chase trends. They make impulsive decisions. Wealthy people ignore the noise. They invest for decades, not days. Templar emphasizes this. If you're investing for retirement 30 years from now, why does today's market fluctuation matter? It doesn't. What matters is time in the market, not timing the market. Consistent investing over long periods produces wealth. History proves this. Despite recessions, crashes, and crises, the market trends upward over time. Patient investors win. So ignore the daily news. Don't check your portfolio constantly. Make regular contributions and let time work its magic. Rule: reinvest your returns. Here's where compound interest becomes explosive. When your investments generate returns, dividends, interest, don't spend them. Reinvest them. This creates compound growth. Your returns generate more returns, which generate more returns. It snowballs. Templar illustrates this beautifully. $10,000 invested at 8% annual return. Without reinvesting, after 30 years, you have $34,000.
With reinvesting, after 30 years, you have over $100,000. Same initial investment, same return rate. Reinvesting triples your wealth. Most investment accounts offer automatic dividend reinvestment. Turn it on and let your money compound undisturbed. This is how millionaires are made, not through get-rich-quick schemes, through patient, consistent, reinvested returns over time. Rule: don't try to beat the market. This rule frustrates some people, but Templar is clear. Most people shouldn't try to beat the market through active trading. Why? Because even professional investors struggle to consistently beat market averages. Study after study shows that index funds outperform most actively managed funds over time. Trying to beat the market requires extensive knowledge and research time, high risk tolerance, often higher fees and taxes, constant attention and adjustment. For most people, a simple strategy works better. Invest in low-cost index funds that track the overall market. Set it and forget it. You won't beat the market, but you'll match it. And matching the market over 30 years creates substantial wealth. Save the stock picking and active trading for when you have expertise and disposable income to risk. Until then, keep it simple. Rule: educate yourself continuously. The investing landscape changes. New opportunities emerge. Old strategies become obsolete. Templar insists that investors must be lifelong learners. Read books, follow reputable financial educators, understand economic trends, stay informed. But he warns against information overload. You don't need to consume financial news 24/7. You need solid, fundamental knowledge and periodic updates. Set aside time monthly to educate yourself. Read one investing book per quarter. Follow a few trusted sources. Learn consistently, but don't obsess. The more you understand, the better decisions you make. And better decisions compound just like returns. Growing Wealth Recap: the rules of investing. 1. Start now, regardless of amount. Time is your greatest asset. 2. Only invest in what you understand. No exceptions. 3. Diversify smartly. Protection without overcomplication. 4. Think long-term. Ignore short-term noise. 5. Reinvest all returns. Let compound interest work. 6. Don't try to beat the market. Match it with simple strategies. 7. Educate yourself continuously. Knowledge compounds. These rules transform savings into significant wealth over time. But there's one more theme we need to cover: the psychological side of wealth.
Theme 5. The psychology of wealth. Your relationship with money. We've covered the tactics, the strategies, the practical rules, but Templar dedicates significant attention to something deeper: your psychological relationship with money. Because here's the truth: you can know every wealth-building strategy in the world, but if your psychology is broken, you'll sabotage yourself every time. Rule: money is emotional. Acknowledge it. Most personal finance advice pretends money is purely logical. Just follow the numbers, make rational decisions, simple. But Templar tells the truth. Money is deeply emotional. It's tied to your identity, your security, your self-worth, your childhood experiences, your fears. People make irrational financial decisions all the time, not because they're stupid, but because emotions override logic. You know you should save, but you splurge to feel better after a bad day. You know you should invest, but fear paralyzes you. You know you should budget, but restriction feels like punishment.
Wealthy people don't pretend emotions don't exist. They acknowledge them. They understand their emotional triggers around money, and they create systems that work with their psychology, not against it. What's your emotional relationship with money? Does money make you anxious, excited, guilty, ashamed? Understanding this is crucial. Rule: heal your money story. Everyone has a money story, the narrative you tell yourself about money based on your experiences. Maybe you grew up poor and you associate money with scarcity and fear. Maybe you grew up wealthy and take money for granted. Maybe you saw your parents fight about money and now you avoid financial conversations. These stories are powerful. They run in the background, influencing every financial decision. Templar says you must identify and heal your money story. What did you learn about money growing up? What beliefs did you inherit? Are those beliefs serving you? Often, the answer is no. You're operating on outdated programming that keeps you stuck. The good news is, you can rewrite your story. You can choose new beliefs. You can create a healthier relationship with money. This isn't therapy hour. This is practical wealth building, because unhealed money wounds will destroy your financial progress every single time. Rule: define what wealth means to you. Here's a question most people never ask. What does wealth actually mean to you? Is it a specific dollar amount? Is it freedom to work or not work? Is it security for your family? Is it the ability to be generous? Is it experiences and adventures? Templar emphasizes this. Wealth is personal. There's no universal definition. Some people need $10 million to feel wealthy. Others feel wealthy with financial independence at a much lower number. The problem is, most people chase a vague concept of more without defining what's enough. So they work themselves to exhaustion. They sacrifice relationships. They miss their kids growing up. They postpone happiness, all chasing a target they never defined. Define your enough. What's your number? What does wealth enable in your life? What does financial freedom look like specifically? Once you define it, you can actually build toward it intentionally, and you'll know when you've arrived instead of endlessly chasing more. Rule: money is a tool, not the goal. This is profound. Templar argues that money itself should never be the goal. Money is a tool to build the life you want. People who make money the goal become obsessed. They sacrifice everything for accumulation. They hoard. They never enjoy. They never feel satisfied because there's always more to get. Wealthy people who understand this use money as a tool for freedom, for security, for experiences, for generosity, for impact. They enjoy the journey. They spend on things that matter. They're not afraid to use their wealth because they see it as a resource, not an idol. What's money a tool for in your life? What do you want to build, experience, or contribute? Let that answer guide your wealth journey.
Rule: be generous but strategic. Templar dedicates space to generosity, and his perspective is balanced. He says wealthy people are often generous. They give to causes they care about. They help others. They contribute. But they're strategic. They don't give compulsively or out of guilt. They give intentionally to maximize impact. They also establish boundaries. They don't let people exploit their generosity. They don't enable bad behavior with money. Generosity from a place of abundance is beautiful. Giving because you feel obligated or guilty is unhealthy. As you build wealth, decide how generosity fits into your life. What causes matter to you? How can your wealth create positive change? But also, Where do you need boundaries? Wealthy people give, but they don't let giving drain their own financial security. Rule: wealth without well-being is meaningless. Finally, Templar emphasizes this crucial rule. Don't sacrifice your health, relationships, or happiness to build wealth. What's the point of having millions if you're sick, alone, and miserable? Wealthy people who got this wrong tell the same story. I built a fortune but destroyed my marriage. I made millions but neglected my kids. I achieved financial success but ruined my health. They'd trade it all to go back and do it differently. Templar says pursue wealth, but not at any cost. Build it sustainably. Make sure you're also investing in your health, your relationships, your well-being, your personal growth. Wealth should enhance your life, not consume it. It should create options, not obligations. It should bring peace, not stress. The wealthiest person isn't the one with the most money. It's the one with a balanced, fulfilling life that includes financial abundance. Psychology recap. The psychological rules of wealth. 1. Acknowledge that money is emotional. Work with your psychology. 2. Heal your money story. Identify and rewrite limiting beliefs. 3. Define what wealth means to you specifically. 4. Use money as a tool, not make it the goal. 5. Be generous strategically.
So here we are. 5 major themes, dozens of rules, all extracted from Richard Templar's The Rules of Wealth. But let's be honest about something. Information without action is just entertainment. You can watch this video, nod your head, think, that's interesting, and then do absolutely nothing. And if that happens, nothing in your life changes. Or you can decide right now that something shifts. Today, not someday, today. The moment of decision. Remember what we talked about at the beginning? Wealthy people make a decision, a clear, firm, non-negotiable decision to become wealthy. This is your moment, right now. Are you making that decision? Or are you going to let this be just another video you watched? Because here's what I know. Most people watching this won't do anything. They'll move on to the next video, the next distraction, the next piece of content. And 5 years from now, they'll be in the exact same financial position, wondering why nothing changed. But you're not most people, are you? Let me make this crystal clear. Here are the 3 actions you take in the next 24 hours. Action 1. Define your wealth number. Sit down with a pen and paper, not your phone, actual pen and paper, and write down specifically what wealth means to you. What's your target? What does financial freedom look like? Be specific. This takes 15 minutes. Do it today. Action 2. Start paying yourself first. Log into your bank account right now. Set up an automatic transfer to savings or investment, even if it's just $50, even if it's $20. Set it up to transfer the day you get paid. This takes 5 minutes. Do it today. Action 3. Choose one wealth-building book to read in the next 30 days. Maybe it's the full version of The Rules of Wealth by Richard Templar. Maybe it's another book on our channel. But commit to becoming a student of wealth. This takes 30 seconds to decide. Do it today. 3 actions, 24 hours. No excuses. These 3 actions won't make you a millionaire overnight, but they'll do something more important. They'll shift your momentum. They'll prove to yourself that you're serious. They'll activate something in your brain that says, I'm on a different path now. And momentum compounds just like money. If you made it this far in this video, you're serious. You're not just casually browsing. You're looking for real answers, real strategies, real change. And I want to help you get there. So here's what I need you to do right now.
First, if you found value in this summary, smash that like button. Not for me, for you, because the YouTube algorithm will show you more content like this. You're training the algorithm to support your wealth journey. Hit that like button. Second, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Why? Because we're building a library of the best business and wealth book summaries on YouTube. Every week, new books, new strategies, new tools for your financial transformation. Don't miss them. Subscribe now. Third, drop a comment below. Tell me, which rule from the rules of wealth hit you the hardest? Which one are you implementing first? I read every comment, and your answer creates accountability. When you declare it publicly, you're more likely to follow through. Comment now. Fourth, share this video with someone who needs it. Your friend who's struggling financially. Your family member who needs guidance. Your colleague who's serious about wealth building. Send them this link. Change doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in community. And finally, check out the other book summaries on this channel. We've covered The Lean Startup, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, Atomic Habits, and dozens more. Each one is packed with actionable insights. Create your own wealth education curriculum. The playlist is free. The knowledge is priceless. I'll see you in the next summary. Now, go take action.